in YouTube as we did it in the first session. So yes, the there is no need for you to do the changes directly in the GitHub desktop. If you want to make or make any change, even here you can make add create a new file, upload new file. So all you can do is create a new file and you say demo of new file, demo of new file directly created in browser. So here I'm making the commit, and commit. See, here I can commit it directly to the main branch, or I can create a new branch and start a pull request. So when I say pull request, we are asking someone to make sure that the changes are correct, and you can add those changes to the main branch. So I'm committing it this new file because I'm directly making the changes. So if you see, the demo new file is created. So if someone creates their own folder, that they can see it in here. So Preeti made a correct change, Rakesh made a correct change, and Ullas made a correct change because those files are in their folders. Those are not outside this particular folder. So if you want to make the pull request accepted, just go ahead and have these pull requests in these folders, in your own folders. Am I clear on that?
Yes, but I made by using upload files. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Until and unless it's in your folder, that should be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
made mistake. Yeah.
Okay, Nagarjuna, I logged into mobile, but screen is unable to, you cannot unable to see. Nagarjuna, don't use mobile. So everyone, please, since will be working with codes, don't use mobiles to check with this. Uh, Nagarjuna, are you available today? Can you please unmute and talk? So, Nagarjuna, okay, I will request Nagarjuna to join the meeting. But yes. So we are planning to divide you in teams. So just be ready by the end of this meeting. We will have you as in teams. Okay, and don't rely on the recordings as well, because as you know, we are doing much activity during the meeting than in the recordings. You will not be able to easily understand while we are working. Fine. So today's session, let's see. I understood or I liked the way how Rakesh presented this particular uh, folder and as well as the PID he created. So to make any change or any pull request that's available by Rakesh, I'll fetch it from origin and see one commit in the main origin, pull origin. So whatever change I made online directly, I need to pull that change into my local. So once I pull it, I can see new file commit here. So all I can do in the repository, go to show explorer, I can see the complete folder. So let's see what Rakesh mentioned. I will take each and everyone's PDD file. Just a second. So someone dropped a message. Shankaram RP developers, we will use this repo to understand, okay, what is this Shankar? Why did you add this one? So yes, so Shankar, the problem I think that you have is you did not make a pull request. So just go ahead and pull the main file. So that will be available in your local machine. Here you can see a pull or repull request, just do it so that you can see other files from other members as well. So if you just see, my folder have different files from that of yours. So your folder should have all the 23 commits. Just check that, Shankar.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what Rakesh mentioned. So I will directly go into the requirements. The requirements is init all items in the array for each loop and add 5, add it to exception. So here I can definitely say that whatever sample he mentioned is not accurate. So Rakesh, I would like to say, though I'm not able to add, please update the complete exact flow. As a lead, I will request for a change. So when I save it and when I go back, you can see this particular folder is changed. So what I would say, updated comments to Rakesh to make floor change. Okay. I'll push it to origin. So Rakesh, you can pull it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Fine. So let's go ahead and let's also create one of the folder or one project. So how will you create project directly? So if you want to create project directly in that particular folder, what I would suggest is open UiPath. So Preeti, you created a RE framework structure, right? Were you able to understand that particular structure?
Yes.
That's great. So see, anytime I want to create a new project, I can click on RE framework. But what I should do is, instead of having this folder path, whatever I have, I will go directly into the folder that I pulled in. So git space RP developer. So I need to give this path directly in here. So when I give this path directly in here, the new folder that's created, so calculator, week 1, calculator, um, reframework. Okay. So where can you see these things? So week 1 calculator and week 1 RE framework. When we create this one, see it will take time. But if you see in this particular folder, week 1 calculator RE framework. Okay. And one more thing that I can do is I can also add my own folder. So let me add my own folder. Okay. And since this is already open, what I could do, I can just go ahead and move this particular thing to my folder. So any change that I make, I will make only in this particular folder. I will not mix up with all the other folders. Okay, just go and take the values. So I would like to ask one other question to everyone. Uh, do you know that there is a documentation for RE framework?
Yes, yes.
Where can I find the documentation? So I want,
Project folder.
so let me pull someone to ask questions because others are quiet. So Dhruvesh,
Yeah, Vajra. You can see the documents in the data folder. In
in the data folder? No, that's wrong.
okay.
So let's take Ullas. Where can we find it?
I don't have any idea, version.
Okay, Sujata.
Documentation.
Exactly. So when we go into documentation, you can find RE framework documentation EN. So each and everything that we have here will be utilized in this document, and by the end of this 30-day training period you should know each and every concept that's there in this documentation. So you can say that whatever training material you need, it's already available for you. Okay, there is no need to further create a new training material for this particular class. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so all we do is we will use it as a textbook to understand what are the things. Okay. Now, so to make it easier, what I would do is, see, on the left side you have project structure. Okay, so any kind of input, we'll have it in data. Any kind of exception screenshots that we create, we'll have it in exception screenshots. So all the pre-built code, for example, take screenshot. So everything that you see here is already written code. That's it, nothing else. So since the code is already written, you can just use this. You need to first learn how to use this, then you can use this. Okay,
Okay.
let's go ahead and uh, let's create a folder called calculator. Okay, normal best practice is whenever we have a new application, to have all the files in that particular folder, we'll add a folder for that application. Now in this calculator, if you see, I will add one more sequence called open calculator. Calculator. This is the naming convention that we normally follow. We will use the folder name. This is this. If we are using anything like a Facebook web application, then we will use FB underscore or some kind of naming convention. Open application. So what it should have? Go ahead, give your answers. What it should have?
Launch application.
Okay. Any other answers? By let's pick up someone else. Uh, Uma Devi.
This was the
What kind of other than open application? What else can we add?
launch application.
Sorry.
Opa, I really don't know. Also.
Okay, Manjushri.
Application.
Sorry, Manjushri. I didn't get you.
Open application activity.
Open application is already available. Other than that,
Uh,
question and answers. Okay. See, in our uh, project, in we can do more than just to store the code in our GitHub. So I will create a new discussion. This discussion is only about how many types uh, can we open any application. Okay. So let's start the discussion. You can go ahead and check with that, and that is a question and answer, right? So that's the question and answer. Let's start the discussion. You can write it. Body cannot be blank. There are I know that there are three ways. To open an application.
Start process.
Oh, yes, that's one of the answer. That's great. And you, who's this? Sujata.
Sujata.
Great, Sujata. So let's keep it as a discussion forum as well. So this is how you can add your suggestions in this. Okay, so start process is one of the activities. So to make it simple, what we can do is we can use open application is one of the activity. Okay, what this open application will do, it will open an application. To directly understand how can we do that, just go into calculator. So this is a calculator, right? Indicate a screen, and when you click on this, this will select multiple properties. So each and every activity will have property. The right side window is called properties window. Okay, so see, there will be important concepts that will be covered in next 5 to 10 minutes. Just check with that. It's about selectors. Okay, so anything with window or anything with app is a parent selector. Okay, now if you check in you open UI Explorer. Okay, there is one more question that will be asked in advanced developer certification. I'll write that question as well. So new discussion. How many types can we open uh, Object Explorer or what is this UI Explorer? So any question that I write here, you find the answers that will be really helpful for you. Note all places where you can open UI Explorer. Okay. So the category would be question and answer again. Let's go ahead and start the discussion. Just go ahead and answer that as well. So one of the way that I would say is if you open any particular selector, if you open any particular selector, here you can see open UI Explorer. Okay, so this is one of the way that I have shown you. There are three more ways you can, or two more ways. You find those two more ways. Okay, so if you see here, this is a window, right? Desktop and all. Okay, let's see what's there in this one. This is a browser, and when you add a browser, you need to add extension for it. Do you know how can we install extensions for a browser?
Yes.
Yes.
So let's see, setup UiPath web automation. Click. So let's just let me just try to tell you if you don't know from where it is. So if you go into home, go into tool, this is where you can add all the extensions from. Chrome extension, Firefox extension, Edge, Silverlight, Remote Desktop, everything is available here and you can directly add directly from here. So now I'm going to add Edge. Okay. Okay. So this is as added to the current user. Enable extension, you need to enable the extension. So let's go ahead and create a new tab that is, okay, let me open GitHub. So this is what we will check in UI Explorer. See, I'm not covering one thing, we're covering multiple things. Just check this one. So in desktop, we are talking about MSH. Now earlier, if you see, there is a window application. This particular tag was window. Okay, when you say window, it just treat it as a desktop application. But when you see HTML, this is a web application. Okay, did you understand the differences between those two? Differences between web application and a desktop application?
Can you repeat again?
Okay, so indicate element. When I click on indicate element, see, this is the parent selector. Okay, or the root selector. A root selector, if it is HTML, it means it is a browser. It can be Edge browser, or it can be Firefox, it can be Internet Explorer, or it can be any different browser. But when I do the same thing with calculator, see, I use calculator. So what is the name here?
Windows.
Window. So this is a Windows application. That's how you need to remember the difference between window and a browser application. Okay. So now there are two types of nodes, I would say. Normally when we sorry, normally when we go into an interview, so they will ask you, do you know about root nodes? What is the difference between root node and the other nodes? Okay, a root node will not have any parent node. Okay, if you see here, this is div, right? And this is a control, web control. This will have parents. It's like a container. Inside this div, there is a div. Inside this div, there is a div. So to explain it in more easier way, do you know your family tree? Everyone knows their own family tree, right? Now think yourself as this web control. Okay, and this can be your parent, and this will be your parent's parent, and this will be your parent's parent, and there is a root from where your family started. Okay, so that's how you can easily match it up with the real-time scenario. So how many children do we have, or how many children do we have for HTML? Please answer.
Five.
Five.
Sorry,
Five.
5. So this particular HTML has two children, head and body. Okay, so inside body, so this is one more parent now. So in this parent, we have different children. All these are children. Okay, so in this head, there are different children here. Any query or any questions on this, because this is the basic concepts that we need to cover to make sure we don't have any issues further, though it will take time. Let's go ahead and cover this and answer all the questions. Please, your questions, any questions, please? Thinking that you don't have any, let's go into calculator. So when we are taking calculator, see, this is the application, and application have this core UI elements. Okay, so when I check with core UI elements, I still have buttons in this. See here, window calculator. Don't worry about what's there on the top. Just check what do you want. Button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4, button 5, 9, button decimal, button positive, group history, standard. So all these elements will represent one element or one item in this particular calculator. To see how, what, or which one did we select, you can use highlight element. So when you use highlight, now you can see the name is button, right? And the same is highlighted over here. Now when I double click on different thing, 5, then this will change, or the particular selector will change, and you will get to know which item you selected here. So now without selecting, can I highlight any element? You can select from the Windows itself. How can we highlight? Like see, when I click on highlight, I'm getting this red line, right? Without using this highlight, how can I get it?
Select the button on the left side. Like if you click button 4, I think.
No. So here in the visual tree, there is an option called enable highlighting. Okay. So when you click on enable highlighting, When you click on every element, this will highlight. But the difference between this highlight and this highlight is, here you will see a red line stating that this element is already selected. But if you want to change it, and if you want to understand which item that you want, that you can select it over here or from here. Okay, so that is the difference. So highlight element is used to highlight is used to show the element in real time, but this one will help you to change whatever required. For example, I don't know what is the decimal here. I just click here without changing this particular selector. If I click here, I can get to know this is what I want. Okay. Now, what I will do is I will write only one thing. Yes. So let's go back. I will change this code, or I will update the code to make it uh, in a simplified manner, or everything will be a separate file whenever it's required. So other than in this open application, I don't want the other functionality. All I want is to open the application. So how can I check if this application will open or not? Can anyone guide me, please? So let me pull names. That should be fine, I guess. Uh, Rakesh Hula, Rakesh Roy.
Yeah.
Tell me, how
So
can I?
you want to check whether the application is opening or not.
Correct.
Okay, and just go to the debug file drop down, run file,
Hmm.
would run the current file that
Okay.
is highlighted.
Okay. So there is one more issue that I want to post in this particular file. So this is again one more interview question, or one more question that you will get in the advanced developer certification. So new question.
Check
And
element exists, then we use check element exists.
correct. How many different types of executions? What are the differences? Okay. So there is run, debug, debug file, run file. So we have all these options to execute any particular item. So I want the discussions to go in this way, like what is run and what is the difference between run and debug. Debug file, what is the difference between run and debug file? Okay, if you see one thing, if you are able to answer every discussion that I am writing in here, that's what will help you to score more questions. Okay. Now let's go ahead and see. So Rakesh mentioned that I can directly run this one. So when I run this one, Rakesh, why did it not open?
It is trying to execute the main function, Vajran.
Yes,
Highlight the calculator application and run file option should be selected.
run file option. Okay. Okay. And now if you see, whatever Rakesh is said is correct, and we are able to see the calculator application open in our machine. Okay. Now what I want is I will update this one. So calculator sequence perform calculations. Create. So what this perform calculations will do, it will take two inputs and the operand. So plus minus equal to into anything that it will take, and we need to write the sum. So normal execution we already discussed yesterday. So what exactly do we need to do now? Let's take the help from I think Myra Jain.
Yes, Ajran.
Tell me please. So I need to write an automation to add two numbers. Let's say that we need to add two numbers. That's the requirement.
Okay. We need to give two input.
But that should be done in calculator. That's not like we should not write like this assign statement 1 plus 2. We should not do like that.
Okay.
Mhm.
No idea.
Okay. Others, anyone can please answer this?
Yeah, can you please use click activity twice?
Okay. So whatever you have said is correct, click activity. But one more important thing to see is the different recording types that we have. Okay. So
Yes.
these recording types will help you to create the skeleton. Okay, I will tell you what a skeleton is. So this is a desktop application, right?
Yes.
So I will create one more calculator, add sequence. Just a second. Basic recording. We'll have two files, basic recording as well as normal desktop recording. Let's see the difference between basic recording and desktop recording. This is one more question that we can add it. So let's go into discussions. Difference between recordings. So we have, as you can see, there are multiple recordings already available. That is basic desktop web image. Okay, so add other items as well and just continue with the discussion. Okay, in the question category, I'm taking it as question and answer. Let's see this. And I will also tell you the answer. See, when we are recording with the basic recording, all we can do is hit on record and you can add 7 plus 9 and equal to. So the answer that we got, there are different options. If you see on the top left, there is escape to cancel the selection, F2 to select after a delay, and select region. So why should you use F2? So let's assume that this particular calculator is minimized. Okay. Now how can I select calculator? There is no option, right? So when I press F2, this will keep it on hold for 3 seconds. By the time we need to pull in calculator on the top, then we can select it. Did you understand the use of F2?
Can
No,
you
please.
please repeat it?
Okay, see, this particular calculator might be in minimized state. Okay, now I want to record down calculator, but I had this recording open. When I click on something, that will be taken as input, this one. If I click on here, this will be taken as input. Okay, now see, but the calculator did not open, right? But when you press F2, select after delay, it will wait for 3 seconds. By the time it waits for 3 seconds, I will open this one. Now I will select any item. Okay, and here if you see, it's save and exit, escape to stop the recording, and save and exit. See here the different selections that we have. Okay, whatever we clicked, we have it in here, right? Click actions. So this is the skeleton that we have. Now, if you observe this particular item, click item in the selector target. What do we have? We have a parent container, which is a root node, and all the subnodes. So to get into 7, we need to navigate through all these items. Okay, open a box. In that there are 10 boxes. In that go to landmark box. In that there are different boxes. Go to number pad box. In that go to 7 and use this 7. Any queries in this?
No.
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 Okay. So just try to understand the notepad selector. This is one selector, right? Let's go with the other selector as well. So let's go with target, and here we have selector, copy. So this is for plus button, and also let's open 9 button as well. So whatever you're seeing now are basic selectors, basic recording selectors. Okay, now let's also do a desktop recording. Let's see what we will have. Perform calculations, recording, desktop. I can do this. See, now when I start recording, I will add 8 plus 9 equal to whatever we have. Let's see what is the or what are the activities that we have. If you see in basic recording, we don't have anything that's called attach browser or attach window. Okay, everything is in a sequence. To see this, if you hover on this, the type is sequence. Okay, but now when we go here, if you hover on this, see there is window scope. It's not a sequence. Okay, so what this will do is it will take this as a container, and it will say that whatever elements that we will have inside this will be inside this particular container. Let's also see the selector. So, can you tell me, is this a root node or not? Please unmute yourself and tell me.
It's a root node.
How can you tell that this is a root node?
No, it's not a root node.
Okay, how can you tell that it's not a root node? For anything, I need an explanation.
Because I don't see the other things like UIA, CLS in the basic recording. We have 3 more, right? So I don't see them in the desktop.
Okay, so this is what I have.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't see the next level, next 3 lines.
Okay, let's also pull in the selector for this one. Okay, so this is for 8. Yeah, and let's also pull in the selector for plus. Okay. So if you see here, this is the basic recording selectors, right? And these are desktop recording selectors. Okay, now this is for attach window. So this is the selector for attach window, and these are the selectors for buttons. Okay, Now, one important question in the interview or in the exam is, what is the difference between, excuse me, let's go into issues, new issue, sorry, discussions, new discussion, full selector versus partial selector. Write their differences. Okay. Can you please write all the answers for these questions, because it's morning for you. This will be fresh. So you please make some time and start. Okay. So I will also tell you what is the difference. So full selector will always have the root node in their selectors. Window or HTML, anything in root node will always be in the selector, the complete selector. This is a full selector. Okay. But in partial selector, the parent is already picked up by the attach window. This is a root node. So this will not have a parent. Okay. It can withstand on its own. There is no need for supporting elements. But here, all these 8 plus and remaining all are partial selectors. Why? Because if we go back and if we just delete this attach window, or if you keep this outside attach window, you will not be able to validate any of the selector. Okay, you will be able to validate these elements only when they are inside this attach window. Edit selector, validate, highlight element. Okay, so the selectors or the elements cannot withstand on their own without this attach window. But in a basic recording, see, this is a sequence, right? Here, if I go ahead and click on edit selector and click on highlight, indicate, see, this is already validated, highlight. Okay, so this particular element can withstand itself even if we move it outside the parent or outside its sequence. Just go ahead and edit selector, validate, it's still valid. Okay, very important concept with selectors, because every automation with the UI automation will be with selectors. Just try to understand them first. Did you get it?
Can
No,
you
sir.
repeat
Please,
again?
can you repeat it?
Repeat what?
These things, basic
These
things.
things which you told me again about selectors.
Okay, so I would like to ask you, so when you ask me to repeat, I will pull back with the questions. Okay, so Dhruvesh, how many types of selectors do we have?
We have full selectors and partial selectors. In full selector, we will get the parent node like HTML or Windows app, and in partial selector, we will not get any parent node. And partial selector we have to use in the attach window or its parent selector.
Okay, so if you see in 7, these particular items are same. Okay, landmark, target, automation ID, and only this particular value changed for 8. Okay, when you compare these two, let's also compare these two. So I'm copying it from parent node. So except 8 or this particular properties, remaining parents are same, right? These two are
Yeah.
okay. So both have the similar properties, but the main difference is with this parent node. So each and every element will have a parent node that will be a full selector. If it doesn't
Correct.
have a root node, that's a partial selector. So now is it clear or is it still unclear? Manju?
It's clear.
Okay. So if you are not clear, just we will anyhow we are recording this session, so we will definitely post that online in the YouTube. So go ahead and check that out. Okay. But we
So,
still we have only 10 minutes. So let's I will not speed up anything in the first week. So let's get the answers solved and then we'll continue. Yes, please go ahead. What's the question?
so as we discussed, two kind of selectors, right? Like uh, full and partial, right? And the above one, like with root and parent. When we use these things, like when we use the root with parent and when we use with root, on what situations?
So it depends on the selectors again. So if calculator supports partial selectors, then we will use them. There can be some Java applications or that can be some SAP applications or console applications that doesn't support this attach window property. Okay, then we will go with full selector every time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Other questions? Go ahead and ask.
Vajrang, this is Maya. I have a question.
Tell me, Maya.
Whenever we start a project, is it mandatory that we need to start the recording as well?
So Maya, see, someone in the beginning said me that okay, go and click, use a click activity. Okay, so
Okay.
if I use click activity, see how many steps do I need to do for each and everything. I just added a click activity, indicate on screen. I need to go back to calculator. Okay, click on this one and then come back. Now what's one? It's done. Now I need to go back to activities again. Okay. So to add one more click activity, I need to go back and I need to add a click activity and I need to do the same process.
Mhm.
Okay. Now the use of recording is to give you a skeleton readily available. So with this recording, how many times did I click? I just clicked only once on every button,
Okay.
but I have all the skeleton that's available. I have what's the first item, second item, or operand. I have 9. Everything I have at one place.
Mhm. Okay.
Yes. So that is the reason I'm using this one.
Okay, and one more thing. How do we decide what kind of recording do we use? Like, when should we use basic recording? When should we use desktop and other types? How do
Okay.
we decide that?
Okay. So for now, Maya, this question is for you. Now for web recording, which applications are suitable?
Web recordings?
Yeah, which applications are suitable?
No idea.
So any browser type
Right.
automation, we will
Okay.
use web recording.
Okay.
If you are working with the image automation is like every image. So this particular screen that you're seeing will be an image.
Okay.
Okay, so you in the image type automation, you will not have selectors.
Okay.
There will be only images.
Okay.
For basic recording, there will be, like as I have said, it will take from root node till the end.
Okay.
Okay, desktop, it will start it on the root node and then it will continue with the sub activities.
Okay.
So you need to practice it at least once or twice. By the way, in this 1 month, we will definitely do all the recordings. you need to do it. Even if I say you not to do it, you can go ahead and do it because there is no one to stop you, right?
Mhm.
Okay, but this is the difference, basic difference.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now what I will also do is, see here I have click equals button, right? So before this one, what I'll do, I will add one more activity. Click. And in this click, I will click on the CE to remove this everything and make it to 0. Then 8, click on 8, click on plus, click on 9, click on equal to, and then use get activity. So get text activity will get the text from this particular place. Okay, first click on CE, then click on 8, click on plus, click on 9, and then get the text. So if you see get text, there will be an output value that we will receive. Output or result. Okay, and I will add, okay, different types. You can see a log message or different types of activities that you can use for debugging. So this is one more important question. Um, you need to discuss about logs. You need to discuss about write line. You need to discuss about message box. So tell what is the difference and what are the uses of logs, write line, and message boxes. What are the differences? So for this particular item or for this particular automation, I'm using message box. Okay, in this message box, all I will do is whatever result I get it from here, I will just print it out. Okay, so this is the automation. Now I want to run only this particular automation. How can I do that?
Using run file.
Okay, see, the best way is not to use the run file. To know more while we are debugging, check with execution trail. Execution trail will help you to understand how you are moving. Highlight elements will highlight this particular element. Log activities will show you activities in the log, and use debug file. See, here the yellow symbol is with the execution trail. Highlight elements is what you are seeing in the application. Okay, so get the text displaying executing is 0. So if you see here, this will fail. This particular item will fail because let's see the selector. Whenever there is something that's failed, let's see the selector. So the display is 0. Okay, here we will have one more question or one more interview question. Different types of wildcards. In UiPath. For now, I can say that there is a star and
Star and question mark.
correct. So you need to answer here. What is the difference?
In star, we can give multiple characters and question mark only one character.
Exactly. So let me just add it up, but you answer this after completion of our training today. Okay. So here the display is 0. So it can be any character. So I can use star here to select any item that's available, not only 17. Okay, it will show us display is and then the value. Okay, now when I hit on debug again, let's see what it will do. Clicking on the button, see 8 plus 9 equal to 17. So it did not give me a message because I think it did not pick any value from here. So what I'll do, I can go ahead, edit selector, highlight element, get text we have. There is also one more option called get full text. Let's also use that one. See, I said you earlier, I cannot train you or teach you on all the selectors, but we'll go according to the project. But how do I know that we need to use full selector? Because I practiced it. I know that what this activity will do. Okay. Someone said click activity. How did they know that there is click activity? That's what we need to practice for. Okay, get full text. And this one is result. Okay. There is also an option called breakpoint. See, I'm going slow in the beginning, but we'll go as fast as we can. So when we hit on debug, the execution will stop at this debug point. So get text is closed, and if you see the result, it's nothing. This is the local window. Okay, and when we click on step into, okay, now see here, the result is at the rate 17. Okay, so there is a difference between get text and get full text. So check with the answers. I will add this as a new discussion point. Question and answer. Get text versus get full text. What are the uses and differences? Go ahead and answer this. Let's see with the result. What is the answer? 17. Okay. So
17.
someone is saying we need to drop. Okay. So Manjushri said we need to drop. So everyone need to drop. Uh, so let's everyone disconnect. I will record this. I've recorded this meeting, right? So we'll save it. Let's not leave it for anyone. I will stop the
No,
record.
then you can continue. I'll see the recording.